I'd like to introduce Audrey from England, who has multiple sclerosis. Welcome, Audrey. Could you tell us how old you were when you were diagnosed with MS?
I was 12 years old when I was, no, not when I was diagnosed. When I was diagnosed, I was 28, but I was 12 when I first started getting symptoms of MS.
Right, okay. And what was your life like if you were having symptoms from the age of 12? You know, what were you experiencing?
Well, when I was 12, I had diplopia, and then throughout my teens, I remember I had like burning down my legs. Then when I was 20, I went for my first lumbar puncture and MRI scan, and yeah, that was such a long time ago. I can't remember. I remember I was having numbness in my hands, which was really quite bad. I couldn't use my hand, my right hand, and I was an artist, so I couldn't draw. And then throughout my 20s was just basically I would have called myself remission relapse, although my neurologist says I was benign MS. But yeah, I would just have eye problems, like nystagmus and diplopia and numbness down my legs and down my body and problems with hands and stuff. And immediately before I started the LDN, I had 5 relapses in a row, and I ended up losing my job as a result of it. And I was only sent for diagnosis because I ended up in tears in front of my doctor, and I had tried once before to get diagnosed, but I was. No,
You said that you had 5 relapses.
Yeah.
Over what period of time was that?
That was over, I don't know, usually a relapse per month. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Did you find that with each relapse you were going further downhill?
Yeah, I would have thought, I remember thinking at the time that I was moving into secondary progressive, and that was really scary. I noticed I was driving like a drunk, sort of swerving and stalling, and cars tipping at me, and received a speeding ticket, and yeah.
How did you learn about LDN?
Yeah, I was living in America at the time, and I just found it over the internet and followed the LDN forum that I'm not sure what it's called, but I just read it for a while.
Naltrexone.org, probably.
Yes, that was the one. That was I found that very helpful, and yeah, that was quite informative, and I made the decision quite before I moved back to the UK. I knew sort of that I was going to try and get hold of it, and by the time I moved back to the UK, things were starting to move on, and I found you.
Good.
Yeah.
And did you find getting a prescription easy? Would your own GP prescribe it for you?
Well, I went to a private GP on Harley Street first to get it prescribed, and then because it made such a huge improvement in my health, I then went to my GP, and she said, "Well, you look fantastic. Of course, I'll prescribe it for you." So that was and I'd been turned down by another 2 male GPs when I'd asked for it to be prescribed before, and they said no, outright no, and my neurologist said no as well.
So how long have you been taking LDN now?
I've been taking it for 4 years now.
4 years. And how would you say it's helped with your MS?
It's helped me with fatigue, definitely. I sleep a lot better. My energy is a lot better. My bladder's better. I haven't had any eye problems, and yeah.
What about relapses?
I don't know if I'd call them full-blown relapses, more sort of exacerbation, kind of. I've definitely had some symptoms, but nothing major.
Hmm.
You know, even you know, if I eat the wrong thing, and I do binge every now and then. It's really bad of me. I try to be careful most of the time, but every now and then I will have something I shouldn't have, and suffer the results. You know.
Yeah. Did you have any side effects, initial side effects when you started LDN?
I had quite I started to have vivid dreams. I would call them nightmares actually, but they were controllable because you just avoid taking the LDN. I actually quite enjoy having. I do take the LDN before I go to bed, maybe half an hour before I go to bed. But sometimes I forget and take it at bedtime and might not have the vivid dreams and just fall asleep. But I don't mind having nightmares. I quite enjoy it because it doesn't happen that often.
So, will you continue taking LDN?
Definitely. I can see myself taking it. You know. For the rest
Have
of
you
my
ever
life,
taken
really.
a break?
Yes, I have. At Christmas time, when we had the snow problems and problems with Royal Mail, I didn't take it for 5 days. I think that's the longest I haven't taken it for. But sometimes the chemist can't get it to me quickly enough, so I might miss a day or two. But that's not a problem at all.
So, what did you find with missing it for 5 days? Did you notice anything?
I didn't notice anything. No, I didn't. No,
Right.
I didn't notice anything.
What would you like to say to other people that are considering trying LDN?
I would say go for it. You've got nothing to lose at all. Just give it a go. Because I noticed the good results I had were within the first week, and it made me feel fantastic. I remember dancing to the radio because I felt that good, you know. And I had an appointment with my MS nurse, and I remember walking to the hospital, which I couldn't have done before. I think I walked from it's about a mile to the hospital, and that was the start of my future progress. It was brilliant.
Fantastic. And understand you have a dog you take for walks as well, Audrey.
I yes, I got Lucy. I think it was before I started. Yeah, I've had her for 4 years now, so I got her before I started the LDN. So I call her my gift from God because she's just been so good for me. So I walk her a lot. Yes, that's a definite. Yeah, there have been times where I've maybe not had that much energy, I have to admit, but majority of the time she gets many walks a day. And,
Well, it's if you have a dog, you don't have the chance to sit. You have to go out for a walk, which
yes,
is
yeah.
a good reason for making you do it, isn't it? So yeah, that's very good. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, Audrey.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.